Imagine standing in a crowded room, watching the person you love pledge their entire life to someone else. And not just anyone, your best friend. The quote goes, "The day my alpha married my best friend, I stood in the crowd and smiled." This single, absolutely devastating line drops us right into the ultimate heartbreak of our protagonist, Ethan Brooks. He was carrying a secret so heavy, so completely life-altering, that it was going to change the course of everything. A secret the groom had absolutely no idea about. Welcome to The Alpha's Secret Heir, a cinematic story breakdown. We're looking at a narrative of profound betrayal, agonizing isolation, and ultimately, a really hard-fought second chance at love. It's kind of like a masterclass in tension, consequence, and the sheer bravery required to heal. So let's trace the exact moments where everything fell apart and how the pieces were painstakingly, desperately put back together. Act 1. The Betrayal. You know, every great tragedy usually starts with a seemingly perfect beginning. When Ethan met Alexander King, or Alex, at just 19 years old, Alex was this classic, untouchable figure. We're talking a future CEO, a future billionaire, a guy who walked into a room and instantly became its center of gravity. Confident, powerful, and dangerously handsome. Ethan knew he should have stayed away, but instead, he fell deeply in love. And their dynamic didn't just start with grand fireworks. It was built on a really solid foundation. Late-night study sessions and coffee runs slowly evolved into shared dreams, culminating in a first kiss that complicated everything. Actually, scratch that. It complicated things beautifully. For 3 whole years, Ethan believed they were building a tangible future. 3 years of absolute trust, completely obliterated by a single devastating phone call. The exact phrasing Alex used to end it all really reveals everything. He said, "My family arranged a marriage. They won't let me refuse." Alex, this incredibly powerful future alpha, sounded miserable and entirely broken on the other end of the line. But those words felt meaningless to Ethan. Because regardless of family pressure or what Alex claimed he truly wanted, the bottom line was agonizingly simple. He wasn't choosing Ethan. In a split second, 3 years of deep, unconditional love were just discarded for an arranged marriage. And right here is where the heartbreak literally becomes a double homicide. The engagement went public weeks later, and the person Alex was marrying wasn't just some stranger. It was another Omega. It was Ryan, Ethan's best friend, the very same Ryan who had spent years listening to Ethan talk endlessly about his love for Alex. I mean, Ryan knew everything, yet he never warned Ethan. He never apologized. He just silently accepted the ring. Now, Ethan actually attended the wedding, which he admits now was a massive mistake. It was this huge, extravagant spectacle. Business leaders, celebrities, politicians, an entire ballroom where literally everyone was celebrating, except for the man standing at the very back of the room. During the ceremony, the tension reached an absolute breaking point. Alex made eye contact with Ethan. For one brief, agonizing second, Alex's perfect composure cracked. Regret, pain, and love flashed across his face. But then, Ryan squeezed Alex's hand, the moment vanished, and the ceremony just continued. Act 2. The Wilderness. So Ethan's heart breaks completely, and he immediately leaves the country that very night. Nobody stops him, nobody follows him, he is entirely alone. But just 3 days after escaping his shattered life, Ethan makes a discovery that changes the trajectory of his universe forever. He wasn't alone after all. He was pregnant with Alex's child. Imagine sitting in an empty apartment in a foreign place, staring at test results, simultaneously crying, laughing, and panicking. Suddenly, Ethan had a tiny life depending on him, a vital reason to keep moving forward. And in that quiet apartment, he made a firm, life-altering decision. He wouldn't tell Alex. Alex had made his choice at the altar, and now Ethan was making his. 5. That is the number of years that pass. A massive, difficult, but beautifully healing gap in time. Ethan raised his son Noah entirely on his own, and Noah was a daily, walking reminder of the past. He had Alex's eyes, Alex's smile, and Alex's notoriously stubborn personality. Sometimes it genuinely hurt to look at him, but most days, Noah's laughter was exactly what Ethan needed to heal and find genuine happiness again. Act 3. The Lobby Collision. Fate rarely lets people hide forever, does it? Ethan is on a mundane, completely ordinary business trip. It's supposed to be nothing special. But as he walks into a hotel lobby, 5 years evaporate in a single glance. He spots Alex standing just 20 feet away. Eye contact is instantly locked. Then the absolute worst-case scenario unfolds. Noah runs across the lobby toward Ethan, his voice echoing over the crowd as he shouts, "Papa!" Alex looks at the child, then at Ethan, then back at the child. The resemblance is impossible to ignore. In that agonizingly silent moment, the color completely drains from Alex's face. He knows. The crushing realization of what Alex has lost hits him immediately. This is the heavy, suffocating weight of his choices. Missed birthdays, missed first words, missed first steps, missed bedtime stories. 5 entire years, gone forever. As Alex's voice barely manages to croak out, "How old is he?" you can see him fully comprehending the devastating, irreversible cost of his past cowardice.
Act 4. Rebuilding a family.
The aftermath of the lobby collision is pure chaos. Alex desperately wants answers, explanations, and forgiveness. Ethan offers absolutely none of it. I mean, you can't just destroy someone's future and expect instant absolution, right? But here is where the dynamic fundamentally shifts. This time, Alex refuses to disappear. He isn't just fighting for a relationship, he's fighting for a family. And of course, he has a secret weapon. Noah. As Ethan humorously notes, Noah liked him immediately. The little traitor. Alex strategically brings gifts, reads stories, plays games, and attends school events. Every time Noah smiles at this man, Ethan's heavy defenses begin to crack. Not because he suddenly trusts Alex again, but because he sees the father Alex could have been and the father Noah truly deserves. This slow integration leads to a pivotal, really quiet evening. Noah is asleep, the apartment is completely silent, and out of nowhere, Alex asks a profound question about the man he married instead of Ethan. He says, "Did you ever love him?" Ryan. When Ethan laughs sadly and says no, Alex looks genuinely confused. He asks Ethan why he didn't fight for him 5 years ago. And Ethan delivers the thematic core of our entire story. I shouldn't have had to. If someone truly loves you, you shouldn't have to compete. You shouldn't have to beg. You shouldn't have to constantly prove your worth. You should be chosen. Every single time. This raw honesty brings Alex to tears as he finally admits aloud, "I was a coward." Yes, he was pressured and manipulated by his family, but in the end, he made the choice. And choices have consequences.
Act 5. The climax and resolution. Healing isn't a movie montage. It's a grinding, daily effort. Months turn into a year, and then 2 years. Slowly, genuinely, things change. Alex becomes a permanent, trusted fixture in Noah's life, and eventually in Ethan's life again. Ethan realizes with utter terror that he is smiling around Alex again. Could he survive loving this man twice? Well, the answer arrives on Noah's 6th birthday. The party is over, the guests have gone, and the house is perfectly quiet. Suddenly, the confident, powerful alpha is on his knees, looking absolutely terrified, holding a ring. Ethan's heart nearly stops. Not again. Not after everything. But this isn't the Alex from the past. He looks up at Ethan with tears in his eyes and delivers a deeply raw, honest plea. "I can't change the past. I can't give back the years I stole. I can't erase the pain. But I can spend the rest of my life trying to make up for it." It is a profound acknowledgement of his absolute lowest failures and a total commitment to their shared future. And just as the silence stretches into something almost unbearable, guess who breaks the tension? Noah. He wanders out from the hallway, still holding a piece of birthday cake, looks between his two fathers, and shouts, "Say yes!" It's the perfect comedic relief. Ethan laughs, Alex laughs, and the accumulated pain of 7 long years finally feels significantly lighter. Ethan looks at the man who broke his heart, the man who spent years trying to fix it, and finally says, yes. The story concludes 1 year later with a second wedding, and the contrast is absolutely breathtaking. Think about it. The first wedding was a hollow spectacle. It was arranged, heavily public, filled with billionaires, politicians, and, frankly, cowardice. The second wedding is the exact opposite. It is chosen, deeply private, and incredibly brave. Just them, exactly the way it should have been from the very beginning. We leave you with this profound realization that Ethan has at the altar. Sometimes love doesn't fail because feelings disappear. Sometimes it fails simply because people are afraid. The difference between tragedy and happily ever after is whether you are brave enough to fight for a second chance. This time Alex was brave, and this time Ethan chose him back. So what would you do if the person who broke your heart came back to fight for your family? Think about that.